G'day world, my name is Eric Chung, or Eric C for short. In my spare time, I like to shoot a bit of landscape and street photography. This is my first time doing a video. The idea for this is a bit of a behind the scene look in one of my photo walks. Ideally, I would have liked to take you through some of the famous streets or landmarks in Sydney City. But since it's generally not a good idea to travel around at this time, I thought I would start by shooting around my own neighborhood. The majority of this video is captured on a GoPro, and photos are taken with the Fujifilm X-H1. Even though it is safe for us to go out, you also may not want to do so, and if that's the case, maybe I can give you some ideas and inspire you to go out for a walk with your camera. To start off with, just a few practice shots to warm up. The background for this frame is really nothing special, so the long lens I had on was useful to isolate the subject. And with a bit of editing, I gotta say it actually looks better than I was expecting. Getting back up, let's continue with our warm up with these flowers up here. This first one is a bit too dense as a composition, but this next one looks a bit like a bouquet, and I like how the dark fence brings out the white flowers. I found these warm-ups really important to get me into the photographic mode, so definitely do it before you reach your actual location for your shoot, whatever your situation. If you're hearing all this high-pitched noise in the background, then you'll know what my next subject is. The rainbow parrots I'm looking for are all the way up these trees, and they're just a bit too high up for my lens with a maximum reach of 200mm today, or 300mm in full frame. So I kept walking for a bit and did find a couple in the shorter trees. They don't seem to like to stand still even when they are eating. I did get a couple of images with them in just about the right spots. But since the light is dimming quickly, I couldn't stick around too long for these guys. Let's keep moving. Now I am lucky to have such a large open field near my place, but as you can see photographically there really aren't too much to shoot. I see the moon is up though, and almost full. Spoiler alert, it will be featured in my next video. If you do go out and shoot around your neighborhood like me, definitely do it during sunrise and sunset. Besides the colors you can get in the sky, the deep shadows will add more interest in your environment, which I really find helpful. I'll show you how I use them later on. Here I'm looking for my next subject. I had this idea while taking walks on the playing fields I just walked past, but they all seem to have gone. Someone must have done some mowing lately. I was able to find a couple in this patch of grass though. Mushrooms. Yes, wild mushrooms. When you're low on subject matter, you gotta make the most out of it. So on my knees I busted out my 16mm f1.4, which is known in the Fuji world for its close focusing. Compared to say a macro lens, which focus really close but you would only get the mushroom, this lens helps to capture the environment around your subject as well. I played around with the aperture and shot them at f2 and f11. f11 in this case is a little bit too busy, and f2 you can't really tell what's in the back there. So I think f5 is the sweet spot, which still puts a good amount of blur in the grass to highlight what is in focus. Editing is of course really important and adds drama and interest. So the internet tells me these are either called silvergrass or feathergrass. All I know is with sunlight as a backlight, these grass can look really good. I couldn't find the right one today that stands out on its own with a good bit of background, but here's one just to show what I meant. So here's what I meant when I said shadows helps mix the image. In the normal case, I would not have noticed a photo opportunity here. The shadows from the trees form a leading line to the setting sun, and here I am just stepping back to get the right amount of shadows for my leading lines. Switching to my wide angle lens, I took two images standing up and down below. I also closed up the aperture to f16 to try to get a good sun star in the photo. The initial idea is the image to the left. Standing up, the shadows are the main elements that leads your eyes to the sun. But I found in this image there wasn't enough foreground interest in the photo. So I took the image on the right closer to the ground to highlight the grass a bit more. In the end, I think the picture taken down below is much better. And here's my take on the edit. Since that last photo, I did a lot of walking without getting any images. This is the second time I walked past this older gentleman and his dog. I saw an image as the kids were doing their laps around the oval, but missed it because I didn't have the right lens on. I was really glad to see these kids taking off again on their lap, and I was waiting for them this time. This image is made up of the kids running in distance in the good light, and this older gentleman looking on with his dog in the shadow, and I think it forms quite a good moody image. And the edit I did here tries to accentuate that. I'm not 100% happy with this photo. I'm not sure what is missing. Perhaps the kids are a bit too small in the photo, or maybe the dog has moved into the bench when he was more around here the first time. Anyway, maybe a 3-star out of 5. Here we are approaching our final destination for the day. Yes, I am lucky to have a creek within walking distance from my home, and it faces west as well. But usually there aren't too much excitement happening here. Here I will practice some slow-mo b-roll. Get ready for an epic scene. Yeah, okay. So I lied about the epicness part of it. Maybe it's user error, but the X-H1 I was shooting this on was jittering all around with the image stabilization. I think the proper way to do this is maybe with a tripod and lock down all the settings in the camera so it doesn't change the brightness. But hey, this is my first time doing this, and let me tell you, just filming and editing this video is a great learning experience. Well, photographic wise, because there wasn't a single cloud in the sky, the wide angle photos wasn't too interesting. I was running out of ideas, but then these ducks came out from nowhere and saved the day. So as quickly as I could, I changed lenses and shot off a few of them with the setting sun. The edit from these photos is a little bit different from before, as I was trying to capture a more tranquil aspect of this experience. I hope that has worked, and these are easily my favorite photos for this day. Feeling quite happy with a smirk on my face after those last photos, I was making my way home not expecting to take any more photos. But then I saw this frame out of the corner of my eye. I initially took these images just to remind myself next time when the sky is more interesting. When I got home, this is what I saw in the RAW file. The camera was on auto white balance, and as you can see it is quite incorrect, so I had to fix it. While I was at it, I turned down the highlight and raised the shadow just a bit. I could see that there was potential in this one, and I was starting to get excited. Dialing up editing to maximum, this is what I came up with. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. It wasn't anything too exciting, but the aim of this video and this channel, I guess, is to make something extraordinary out of the mundane. The walk and talk type video had been in my head for some time now, and this first video really helps me to realize that. But I'm sure there are plenty of room to improve. I hope to bring you more videos soon where I visit other parts of Sydney and the rest of the world when we get the chance. So if you want to see more of this, or if you like what you've seen, please give me a like or even a subscription. Make sure you check out my Instagram, and I'll see you next time.